Hey everybody, Koricon here, and this is a surprise review for you guys because we just saw Raman Raghav 2.0. I was talking to my brother about the new Netflix show, Sacred Games, that Nawazuddin Siddiqui is in, and I showed him the trailer for Raman Raghav 2.0, and you were like, we should watch that.
Yeah, that looked good. I thought the trailer was clever.
Yeah, so we ended up watching that movie. We probably stayed up a little too late watching it.
And talking about it. I probably got 2 hours of sleep that night, but it was worth it, and we're going to review it. This first part is going to be a spoiler-free section. Then we'll give our grade of the movie, and then we will do a spoiler discussion. So in this spoiler-free discussion, I gotta say, I loved Nawazuddin. I loved his performance. Oh man, we were trying to think of people to compare him to in America. We struggled.
Because it was so natural.
It was so subtle and natural.
Yeah, just like the way that he looks, where he moves his eyes, his expressions. He felt like the character. Like most movies, I would say most movies, an actor sounds like they're saying a line.
Yeah, I think most, like anything above an independent film level, you're gonna get actors acting, and then but anything that's like independent or low budget, you're gonna get an actor. If he loves the character, he's going to be committed to that character more. And it's going to feel more natural, I think.
They feel they're more invested.
Yeah.
And he felt really invested.
Oh, man. I didn't even realize it was an actor after a while. I don't know about you. I was so engrossed in the movie.
I was, it was a bit crazy. Like,
I thought I was watching something live.
Like a documentary.
His scenes, it felt like it was being filmed at that moment. It was really happening.
And so I have IMDb up here. I'm trying to remember all the names, but it was directed by Anurag Kashyap. And I gotta say, his directing style was awesome because it really fit the tone of what they were going for. It was handheld, but it wasn't shaky. You know, his camera angles, his framing, the composition that he had, whatever he was doing in the scene, the way that he filmed the scene really supported what the actors and the tone was going on. So like even his directing style changed when they were in the club, when the guy was on drugs, when Nawazuddin was trying to like find somebody to kill or get their attention. Like, it was all filmed based off of what the characters were going through.
Yeah, he was very aware of his set, I think, when framing up his shots. Like, some of the scenes, there was a lot of lighting, but most of it was dark. It's kind of noirish, kind of dark.
And there were a lot of night shots.
Yeah, a lot of night shots.
Now, the other actor, Vicky Kaushal, he played the cop that was chasing down Nawazuddin, and he was a very flawed cop. Now, I've seen flawed cops in Indian movies before. You know, Vikram Vedha, Madhavan was a flawed cop. Or you had corrupt cops or something like that, but this was on a whole other level.
Yeah, I agree.
And we'll get into it in spoilers, but
I just want to say that I think the character turnout, like the good versus evil, I kind of saw it as an evolutionary step in storytelling. Like, that's how much I like this movie.
Yeah.
Like, they took it to another level I've never seen a movie do with characters this kind of dynamic before. Have you?
No, and we've seen a lot of movies.
Yeah. So it felt great to see this movie because you see a new story.
Yeah, it was fresh.
Yeah. I think it's undone. It felt undone before.
Well, and there was a lot of things in there that have been done before, but the ending changed all that.
Story-wise, I'm very focused on the story.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the story, I guess.
Now, there were moments where I felt slow.
I liked the slowness.
I liked the slow for some of the moments because it added tension. But for other moments, I was like, okay, I get it.
Well, you can catch great, subtle, long scenes, and you can watch it develop. It's great. It was great.
And the when he murders people, they did a very Hitchcockian thing where you don't see the hit. You know, you don't see the guy's head get smashed in. You see it right off camera, or the camera, and I think the camera placement was really smart for like one of the scenes turning away or being framed. Like in one of the scenes, the camera was in a kitchen, but the guy being killed was in the living room. So the camera didn't have to move anywhere. He just went off, against the wall. He went on the other end of the wall. So it wasn't like the camera purposely moved out of the way. It was just the way it was framed. He's going where the camera can't see him.
Yeah.
And then
he did a few different things.
Yeah, but it cut to it, and then there were other moments where it was like the kill was right off camera, but you could hear it happening. And hearing
it, the smash.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to spoil anything, but
no, we're not talking about characters yet. But it's like, the guy that did the sound Foley probably had a lot of fun smashing
and crushing things.
But I thought it was really smart to use that kind of Hitchcockian way of having murder, because your brain fills it in and makes it more violent than it actually is.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. It doesn't have to be super gory.
No.
I mean, there were some props that were disgusting.
Yes.
So but you still had enough disgusting in it, I think.
You did.
You can overdo it or you're not do it. I mean, like you watch Tarantino or Eli Roth, they're gonna overdo it.
They're gonna way overdo it.
but it's really fun.
Yeah, that's different.
But this, I don't think it would have fit this movie.
No, I think if they showed the gore, it would take away from the characters and what they were doing with the story.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it was the correct decision, and it worked so well in the movie.
Definitely.
The music, there wasn't... The music for the background music, it really just kind of kept the tone going, but it wasn't something totally memorable.
You got me all confused.
Like if I heard it outside of the film, I wouldn't have been able to place it. But in the movie, it was subtly there and helped with what was going on. Like it pulled you in. But I'm not going to remember what the background music sounds like. Yeah.
I guess I only had a problem with the montage scenes, but we don't have to talk about that. Because I haven't seen that many Indian films, so...
Yeah, he doesn't watch...
I'm not used to that. Montage kind of fell out of place. Like, it kind of took me away from the story, but if it's something you're used to, it works. But yeah, I'm not used to it.
I was explaining to him how music fits in with Indian movies, and that, some of them have, like, masala films will have, like, full-blown music videos that are right in the movie. Others will have on-location song and dance numbers like an American musical, and I prefer those. I like it when it's on set. Like one of my favorites was probably Basha with Rajnikant in the beginning with the auto drivers. You guys will know what I'm talking about. I like that. I like the way it was set up. It moved in, it had the song, and it moved out very smooth. But with this one, they didn't have any song and dance, which they couldn't. The tone and the story would not. If Nawazuddin just all of a sudden started dancing, it would it would have been really weird. But they were smart about where they fit the songs in. Like one of them was in a dance club. Of course, there's going to be a song at a dance club.
Of course.
One of them was a montage sequence, which that is in a lot of Indian movies where you have a song over a montage. And I thought that they had about 3 of them in the movie.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe one too many, and because one of them really did pull me out of the story. But I think one of them at the apartment, that one was okay for me. The one at the club was okay for me, but the third one, I thought that's the one that...
Yeah, those two kind of slipped. They fit into the story better.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. Just one of them.
But that third one, I think it was... It was a little too long.
I think it messed up the tone.
Yeah, it
kind of cut the tone out.
Well, and the flow of the story, like you were like getting pulled in, you were ready, and then all of a sudden there's this song montage, and you're like, so it kind of pulled you out of it.
Maybe if they toned down the music, it could have worked. I don't know.
But I think if they just kept it to those 2 songs, it would have been fine. Because I didn't really... those fit perfect, I thought. But overall, I loved the movie. I thought it was very well shot and filmed, edited very well. But acting by Nawazuddin and Vicky Kaushal were great. The characters were intriguing. Story was unique. I mean, overall, I was super happy with the movie.
Yeah, I was impressed.
And he doesn't watch Indian movies.
No. I think it was a groundbreaking story. I was very impressed with where the story went. I did not expect the story to go where it went.
Yeah, and he's a writer.
And I read a lot of stories and watch a lot of stories. And I write some stories.
So for him to say it's a unique story that grabs his attention is saying something.
I would say it's groundbreaking. I would go that bold and say it's a groundbreaking story. You might see that story in an American movie.
I wouldn't be surprised
in about 5 years, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if some American wants to remake it.
Dude, maybe not just copy it, but use that kind of good guy, bad guy, and just where that evolved.
Because they can't do a direct copy of this movie because there were a lot of things that you need to either understand about India or be Indian to get. You know, they had a lot of references to Indian gods. Reference to Raman Raghav, the killer from the 60s, is heavy in there. You know, having Raman trying to find his Raghav and things like that. An American audience, for the most part, would not understand those references.
I barely caught it.
Well, and I explained...
I had to ask you, but I barely caught the storytelling device.
Yeah, I had to explain some of those things, like... what was going on with this festival sequence and why they were burning it and why he was there and what the reference with the god and the character and all that. So if they remade it in America, they would have to change the whole cultural aspect of who the killer was and maybe frame it around somebody that was a murderer in the U.S., like the Zodiac Killer or something.
It would have. You could probably do it in a TV show too. Just where a good guy and a bad guy, just where that goes. I could see a TV show in America stealing that before a movie, maybe.
Well, they had something similar to that on that Amazon Prime show, Breathe, with Madhavan and Amit Saad. You may want to check that out. But I think in
same kind of character.
Well,
evolution.
Yeah, kind of. In Breathe, Madhavan's character, his son is dying, needs a lung transplant, but he's like 4th on the transplant list, and he's got a rare blood type. And there's only like 5 people that can donate. And so he goes and starts killing donors so that they end up donating. But he has to kill him.
He turns into an anti-hero?
Kind of. And then the Amit Saad plays the cop that's trying to catch him, and...
I would say Nawazuddin's character was almost an anti-hero.
Almost.
If he didn't kill a couple of people...
Yeah, there was one in particular. We'll get into spoilers.
Maybe a second one. But
yeah,
I think he was almost an anti-hero. And I wanted to like him. Just because he's clever and unique and a little offbeat. I mean, like you want to like him, but you can't like him.
No. Well, his personality and Nawazuddin's performance, you're like, I want to like this guy, but man, he's so dangerous. Like, I don't want to meet him in person.
No.
But I kind of want to meet him in person. I just don't want to be one of his victims.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be an interesting person to have a conversation with. Like, maybe be one of the other side cops that didn't get killed. That just interacts with him.
Yeah.
But overall, I loved the movie. I'm going to give it an A. I'm not going with the A+ just because I think that third song pulled me out of the film. And a couple of moments were a little too slow. I thought they could have picked up the pace on it.
I liked the slowness. It kept it subtle and compelling.
Well, not all the slowness. I'm just saying a couple of scenes I thought went a little too long.
Oh, I thought they kept it compelling.
The whole time?
Like the subtle, compelling, the whole time. I'd give it like a 97.
97? So
almost an A. Or I guess that's just barely.
So that's like the...
Absolute
is that the
A+?
Is that the minimum A+, or is that the top of an A?
Yeah, what is that?
So is it like an A+?
I guess I would. Yeah, I guess it's barely a bit A+.
So there you go, guys. We're giving them very high grades for Raman Raghav 2.0. If you have not seen it, check it out. It was a Hindi film, came out about 2 years ago. Nawazuddin.
Did it just hit Netflix?
It's been on Netflix for...
That's where we saw it.
It's been on Netflix for a little while.
Oh, okay.
I've always wanted to watch it, but I never really had the time. And then when you wanted to see it, I was like,
that
let's
trailer
do it.
caught my eye about 6 months ago.
Yeah?
But I never,
Never followed through?
So much stuff on Netflix.
Yeah, there is.
And who knows with your choices.
Right. Yeah. Well, I gotta say, it was awesome. So let's get into some spoilers. So if you have not seen Raman Raghav 2.0, go watch it, come back, and then check out this second half. The one thing that I think, it was like a double-edged sword. On one side, it really proved that this guy was dangerous. But on the other hand, it made it impossible to like him, was killing the kid.
Yeah, the kid. And then afterwards I thought about it was probably the sister. That's pretty messed up.
It is, but
I guess that's all messed up.
It's all messed up.
I guess we're just talking in the realm of anti-hero.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
He ends up not being an anti-hero because of that. However, I think the decision to kill the sister, like killing the husband, I guess I can understand. But killing the sister and his nephew, I understand why they did it, because it is easy for Nawazuddin's performance and that character to become a likable anti-hero killer like a Dexter. But if you make that decision, then it means that you can't like this guy, but you kind of still want to, and it puts him in this level of dangerous that you need for the movie.
Now that I think about it, they did that. They definitely did that on purpose. They didn't want you to like him.
Yeah.
But you still kind of like him.
Yeah.
They did that on purpose. That's clever. I just got that, I think.
Yeah, it was. And the other big thing is there is no happy ending. The cop that's chasing him the whole time, for one, he's a drug addict. He's corrupt. He's abusive. But he ends up joining and being the Raghav to Nawazuddin's Raman. And I think Vicky Kaushal did a great job with the character. You couldn't like him either.
No, they definitely took the cop that's just bad enough to function on the right side of the law, like barely, and then Nawazuddin's character is as bad as you can get on the bad side. So, and then that naturally evolves into something very compelling.
Yeah, and he talks about it through the whole movie of like, I'm Raman and I need to find my Raghav. And at the end, it turns out that Vicky Kaushal's character becomes Raghav, and he convinces him to kill to solve his own problems.
Yeah.
Now, he had been killing, people here or there, which made him not a good guy, but he was still the cop, and you could kind of explain the way the killings in a very messed up way. But that last one, it's like right at the end, he changed.
Yeah, what I thought about it, I realized, like, you have like the bad cop that evolves. Sometimes they stay bad, or then they get arrested, or they're bad and then they turn into a better person.
Right, they redeem themselves.
And in this, he's bad, and it just gets worse. And he gets even more worse at the end. And there's probably no fixing. He's completely bad now.
No, and they did have a couple of moments in the movie where they gave him the option to redeem himself and be good, and he didn't take it.
No.
So it's not...
He's too addicted to drugs.
Right, and it's not like in the story they couldn't go that way. They could have made it to where he would redeem himself.
Better ending, though.
Much better ending that he turns bad. And what surprises me is, like, they don't do that too often in America. But in India, not a lot of movies have dark endings like that. They usually have, happy, everything is solved, complete endings.
Yeah.
And so to have an open-ended, just, nope, it's all bad kind of ending, and then it's over. And it ends on him going to kill somebody. That was a brave decision by Kashyap. That was a really brave decision.
I think he made the right decision.
I did too, because I think if he ends up redeeming himself, then it changes the tone of the whole film. So... And
it would feel out of place at the end if it did.
But I was expecting it. I was expecting the tone change, like really abrupt at the end. He redeems himself. He catches Nawazuddin, and then it would be over. And instead, he took the tone all the way to the finish line.
Yeah.
Now
that's why I'm so into how groundbreaking the story is.
Yeah, not many people will take it.
I think you'd get something like that in a book. But you don't get that in a movie that much.
That's true. There are, you would know, many books that end like on a, the tone goes through the whole thing.
And I think it fits with an independent film. An independent film can end like that, and it's great.
Now, for those of you that don't know what he's talking about with independent film, in the United States, we don't have different film industries that are based on language, since we all speak English. Our film industries are based on like how much money and experience.
A lower budget.
So a lower budget film that's made with a small production company is considered an independent film because it's not made by one of the or financed by one of the big companies. So it had a very independent film feel for us. That's how we would reference it. But and it did feel like an independent film.
And it felt like reading a good book. I would say that, too.
Like you were watching a good book.
Yeah.
I wonder if they probably have a novelization version of it.
I don't know.
I would wonder if there was more information in the book version. They usually do.
Sure. They'll go more in depth.
So if you guys know if there's a novelization version of Raman Raghav 2.0, I think that would be interesting. The directing style and the lighting, like I really loved what they did with that. And I mentioned in the spoiler-free section. But things like in the apartment when he's killing his sister, her husband, and the nephew, that was the moment where the camera would be in the kitchen. And then you would see they had a wall right here, but the husband was on the other side of the wall, and you would see him like rise up his iron, whatever you would call it, tire iron kind of thing. Pole with a bent end on it.
Oh, I guess at that moment it was the tire iron.
Was that the tire iron?
Yeah.
And he swings it, but right out of the view of the camera because of that wall was there. And it wasn't like the camera had to purposely not film it. It was just the camera was placed in a way that it wouldn't be able to see it no matter what unless it moved. So those decisions were great. And then, the talk that he had with the kid,
It's just that whole scene right there in the apartment.
So
it's like really
nerve-wracking.
long, very subtle. Just he says one extra thing, one other little extra thing, and it just gets creepier and more compelling. And is he gonna take that next step? What is he gonna do? Is he going to go to that next step?
Like you can see him getting to that anger and then kind of coming back, and it's like ebbing and flowing until it gets to a breaking point.
At one point, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna kill at least one of these people." Like I
thought the husband was for sure gonna die.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure about the sister or the nephew. Yeah,
I was like, he might beat up the sister. Maybe he kills her, but I thought he would leave the kid alone because he was tied up.
They really hinted at abuse between the brother and the sister, so at least abuse of some sort.
Yeah, and he did. It did feel like he was abused,
and it kind of felt like when he hit his sister, it kind of escalated. Like I don't think he was planning that.
No, it felt like he snapped at that moment.
Yeah, some kind of escalation to snap.
But
he probably could have was gonna kill her anyways, but it seemed like it escalated there.
Once he did that snap, it was also like, well, now that I went this far, I might as well go all the way.
Yeah.
And then, but the scene with the kid.
I mean, he's kind of sparing the kid trauma in the future. I mean,
by killing him.
I mean, it's not. I'm not saying he's a nice guy or anything, but he is sparing him trauma.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his messed up way of thinking. He was doing the right thing. He said he had a reason for killing every single person, right?
That's true. Now, when he was talking to the kid, he said, people are going to ask why I killed you. Which, that again, is so creepy because he's telling the kid that he's going to kill him, and he's so calm about it. He's like, people are going to ask why I killed you, and they're going to say it was easy pickings. But they're going to be wrong. And he's like writing in his... Because he writes down his reasoning for killing every person and who he kills. Which is another level of creepy because he's very conscious of it. He keeps a diary.
It's kind of weird he lost it. Do you think that was too convenient?
That he lost the diary?
Yeah. Just so the detectives had something to talk about?
Could be.
He lost the pole, a tire iron.
He did.
Was that on purpose?
No, he left it by accident in that place that he had to get away from quickly.
He could have grabbed it, though.
He could have. But it did give the cops something.
Yeah. It's probably just meant to give the cops something to talk about.
And something to kill somebody with and blame it on him.
That's true.
The ending with him becoming bad, you know, that in the beginning of the movie, the cop is obviously not a good guy. I mean, they start off with him in a dance club. He's doing coke. You know, he picks up some girl, and
I couldn't believe he disrespected his mom. He really disrespected his mom.
He disrespected his mom, but he added at the end of it, take care of your niece.
So he still kind of cared.
He still cared, but he was
very
disrespectful.
Yeah. And then he was pretty sharp with his dad.
He was very sharp with his dad.
Yeah.
But he was still scared of his dad.
He was. It kind of seemed like one of those moments where he was finally standing up to him.
Yeah, but couldn't go all the way.
Yeah, he was holding back still.
It was like he was standing up to him, but kind of twinging at the same time.
Yeah.
And then he ends up just walking off.
That scene where they kind of stared at each other for about 30 seconds was like, whoa.
Pretty intense.
It was intense. I thought it was going to end up with him hitting him or something, but it showed more restraint. He had more restraint than he thought.
Well, I think because he hadn't done his snap at that moment yet, so he still had this.
Still had control.
Still control, and in his mind, like, these are my parents. I have to respect, and he still feared them.
Wanted to respect them. Yeah.
He still wanted to. Yeah, total disrespect to your mom, but take care of your knee. I just loved that last little thing at the end.
He cares about his mom still.
Yeah. Screw you, Mom! Now take care of your knee.
Oh, don't forget to take your vitamins. Yeah.
It was a good touch. I like that.
Yeah.
But Nawazuna's performance is the thing that stands out. I mean, it was so natural and flawless. Like, I could not see a flaw in his performance, and I was in awe of how natural he was with it. It was just, like, seamless.
He felt like that person. Like, he was that person.
Like, if that's the only movie you've seen with Nawazuda in it, and then you meet him in real life, I would be hesitant.
I want to see something else with him in it.
Well, Sacred Games.
Does he go that hardcore with a dark character, or does he do different types of characters?
He does different types. He did a short film that I saw. He was just a side character. It was a sci-fi. And he played this, like, kind of wealthy guy. But he felt natural in that, too. It's like, it doesn't feel like he's delivering a line, like we were talking about. It feels like that is just what he would have, almost like improv. It's as if he was so into the character, he improv'd all his lines, even though they were scripted.
Yeah, he definitely was acting in the moment. You can tell he was acting. Like, it was just unfolding in front of you. Like, the story was naturally unfolding.
Now, we were trying to think of some American actors that were like that. There's a lot of American actors that will have a really good movie where they're like that in that movie. Like, I was saying, Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler. He was like that, very natural. But he's not like that in every movie.
No. I think it was the independent movie or the low-budget movie. You have a similar character, like a dark person getting darker, like abandoning his ethics to achieve something, right?
Yeah.
So you still have that kind of same storyline where a bad person gets worse. I think you can only get that in a low-budget movie. You see in a bigger budget movie like Southpaw, Gyllenhaal, like another movie that was really close to Nightcrawler, maybe like 1 or 2 movies away, and it was just, you could tell he was acting, as an actor. I mean, a good actor, but you could tell he was delivering lines.
Well, I think part of it is how much the actor is invested in the film. So, like something like Southpaw, he's a hired actor. He's probably has no real vested interest in the film, maybe. I don't know what his level of interest in the movie was, but something like Nightcrawler, lower budget, he probably had to do a lot more in the movie. Sometimes with lower budgets you have to do more than just your job. You need to help out here or there. It's a bit harder of a shoot. And so you feel more emotionally invested in the film, and so I think that gets that performance out.
Yeah, you're definitely closer to a lower budget movie.
Yeah.
And it's probably a smaller group of people.
Like
everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, you don't like do your lines and then go to your trailer.
Yeah, you're more relaxed too. Probably just have beers with most of the staff the night before.
Right.
Yeah.
You're friends with the people that are working. But we were trying to think of a character or an actor that puts in that kind of effort with most of their characters, and you were thinking Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a while, but I think Joaquin Phoenix, almost all his roles are like his. Like, where it's just unfolds, his lines are natural. He's just, he probably tried 10 different subtle ways of saying it on camera.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. But Nawazuda is on his own level, in my opinion.
He's an amazing actor.
Yeah. So we just wanted to talk about some of those points, like, killing the kid and the fact that Vicky Kaushal was evil at the end. That's the thing. I was not expecting the director and the writer to take that tone all the way to the end of the movie.
Yeah. It definitely went up somewhere I did not see it going.
So and whenever a movie ends surprising to us, it really sticks in our head.
And can I also make the point of like when they went from the dance club in the beginning to the other storyline that was non-linear? Like, I thought the movie was going to be non-linear, Right. And that's easier when you have a non-linear movie. It's easier to have a twist in there.
That's true.
And they had a linear movie with a twist in it.
Yeah. Because in the beginning...
That's a lot harder to do than a non-linear.
Yeah, the movie starts out non-linear, but it's really just to kind of show something that happened in the past, because the real linear story starts at this moment, but there was something that happened years ago that they wanted to touch on. But the rest of the movie is linear. To have a twist in a linear film is difficult.
It is harder to do.
And to pull it off. And they did. Like Sixth Sense did that. You know, Sixth Sense had a twist on a linear film. But it's not...
Yeah, when it's linear, I think and you have a really good twist. It's really, really good twist.
Yeah. Now, some people may have figured it out if they knew more about the gods that were involved in the storyline and the whole Raman finding his Raghav kind of thing, that you may have figured out that the movie would go at that tone all the way to the end. However, knowing Indian movies, they don't like to end on a bad note. They want to end on a good note. And so from an Indian movie standpoint, it's amazing that they made that decision, let alone any movie in general. So I
wouldn't know.
I was amazed. I thought it was awesome.
As an American who mostly watches American movies or European movies, I was very surprised.
So you grabbed his attention. But what do you guys think? Comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Links to all my stuff in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. And I will see you on the next video.